Hello and welcome back. I did not get the video up for you that I was going to get up yesterday. Oh, when it rains, it pours. I'm having another monsoon. This is a wiper blade package, so that's one of my projects today because, after several days in the 50s and 60s and beautiful weather and, spring-like temperatures, uh, they, now we're having, uh, rain, sleet, snow, you name it, with winter's back, which kind of sucks because I have this weekend off. And so, anyway, my car decided that one part of the wiper blade had to get messed up. And so, this is my first project in the morning as soon as I get dressed is putting a wiper blade on my car. Oh, God. And then yesterday, one of my kitties got really sick, and I had to go to work, so I was worried about him all day. To be blatantly honest, he, I think, was extremely constipated. He's a licker. He washes continually, and he couldn't go either way because he was constipated. So I gave him some stuff before I left. Came home, and to make a long story short, and not get too gross, he's better. He's back to his old self today, so I'm happy about that. Um, I know I told you that my creativity for the miniatures right now is pretty low, and I will get my lamp struggles up. I don't know, like I've got to work today. I don't know what time. I'm gonna get off early because my one coworker is an amazing person and she's agreed to stay till 10:30 for me. But they're kind of back and forth on when the um, stuff is really supposed to hit. And the job hasn't been easy right now. We have I work in a group home and we have a lot of drama going on. Lots of drama. And that drama leads to the, one of our people getting very upset, mad, and, you know, being in this profession, and this is not part of my channel, but being in this profession, for anyone who's never done it, I love it. I do. I love helping these people. I love helping them achieve their goals and be the best they can be. But there are times when you have behaviors as part of their disabilities, and the behaviors can be extreme. And I'm not talking about just ones that have physical behaviors, because like they say, and it is true, every behavior is a communication. It's their way of expressing themselves sometimes. And I think the hardest ones are probably the ones who are have just slight intellectual disabilities and that kind of stuff, because although if you saw this person walking down the street, you wouldn't know they had a problem, a disability of any type. But when you work closely with them, you see this on a daily basis, and then you understand that, and everything is about their rights, which is good because all people have rights, and we need to respect the rights of all people. However, unlike us, they have the right to do whatever, and there are no consequences for it, so they don't get that part of it. It's a law that we can have at our house personally, or within these agencies like what I work for. There are no consequences for their behaviors, and that makes it hard because you get a lot of "it's my right, it's my right, it's my right" thrown at you. And yes, it is your right. It is. It's everyone's right to do what they want to do. But sometimes their choices aren't so good. And that's where we come in. We're supposed to educate them. Well, with the people who I was talking about, where you wouldn't know that they had a disability if you saw them just walking down the street, um, they know that. They have their rights, and honestly, I, for one, live in fear of that because if they decide to make up a story about you and it isn't exactly true, which does happen quite often, um, then you kind of live in fear of how far are they going to believe this person? How far is this going to go? You know, I mean, it's nice that the agencies realize this part of their disabilities that they do make up stuff, but it gets a little nerve wracking because if they go tell somebody something that's totally not true, like, oh, this person, the staff yelled at me or whatever, and they did this or that, then you know, depending on what they decide to tell, you could end up in serious trouble. And I think that's kind of a fear all of us have in the back of our minds is that because this does happen, and you get used to being called some pretty choice words. I think effing bitch is the one that I probably get called the most. And I have to realize that's part of their disability. And after being in this, profession for, I don't know, 12, 14 years, you learn to just let it go, not take it personally. Um, but it does get old and it does get stressful and it does really affect, you know, it affects you. And some days you're like, I don't even want to go there because it's been a really bad week so far and I don't even want to be there. And that's the truth. And that's kind of where it was the end of last week. I worked the weekend and it was not good. But I do love these people and I do understand that that they're a lot of them, even though they are very high functioning, don't understand a lot of the simple things that we do. Like you can't just keep spending money because you have to live within the means of what you have, and that's really hard for them because they think, oh, I want something, I want to go buy it. Well, it gets to be kind of a struggle sometimes when they realize they can't just go buy whatever they want because they don't have enough money. Um, and it's stuff like that day to day, and it does get to you after a while. I mean, like I said, I've been in this 12 or 14 years, and I have worked with numerous, people with numerous developmental and psychological disabilities, and I understand. But it's still sometimes it just gets to be too much for you. So I struggle a lot, and that's when I say that work has been. Sometimes I say work has been hell. Sometimes it's like, hey, work was great today, but I do struggle with that on an inner, you know, personal level because it does get very hard sometimes, and it does get very frustrating, and it does get very sometimes just too much, and so I deal with that. I'm not making excuses here, people, for anything. I'm just saying this is a very normal part of my. Sorry, my battery died. But to make a long story short, there's a lot involved with my job, and we also take a lot of flack from the public because they don't understand exactly how all this works if they've never done it, or you had a family member who has had some sort of disability, and so there's always that too. There's always the pressure of trying to be as professional as possible when you're out public with those people. And sometimes due to what they call support plans, which is how we help these people, they don't understand why we do some of the things we do. I mean, it's like, oh, you're terrible and all this, and that's not the case. We're following the person's individual plan, which will help them to succeed more in life based on the person themselves, the diagnosis, that kind of stuff. This is what this is all based on, and sometimes it is trial and error, but it's trying to figure out how to, what works best for each individual person, and so sometimes the public doesn't understand why. Maybe if someone has a behavior in the store that you just leave the store, um, doesn't happen a lot, but not with the agency I'm at, but it has happened, and people look at you like, oh, you're terrible, you're taking this person out of the store. A lot of times that is for the person's own good. Sometimes they're overstimulated. They need to calm down. You know, sometimes, being in the store can be too much for some people. I mean, I'll tell you what, people, when Costco and Walmart are crowded, it's too much for me. So, yeah, so there's a lot to my job, and I have the one shift that nobody will pick up, which is 12:30 in the afternoon to 10:30 at night. Basically, it takes your whole day. It just destroys everything. It's 4 days a week, every other weekend off, and it's I'm not here as much as I should be for the kiddies now that Rob's not here, and there's just a lot, and sometimes I get overwhelmed. And when I'm getting overwhelmed and I have other things going on, like Ash got sick, and that it's like you just want to implode, and you can't because you have to live life and do your best. Um, but yeah, so that's a little bit of it. This is not an excuse. This is just the actual facts of my life, and I'm working on. I'm trying to work on it without Rob. Um, Before I had him, I could come home, I could talk to him. As far as the miniatures goes, he's a very, very talented, creative person, and I had him to bounce my ideas off of. And if I didn't know how to do something, he was very good about helping me try to figure it out or offering suggestions. He was very honest with me. If I did something and he didn't think it was quite right, he would tell me so. And I really valued that because that let me know, am I on the right track? Am I going the right direction? Did I screw up? And it's just, yeah. So anyway, I've got to go put the wiper blade on because right now, right where I look out of my window is right where the wiper blade is not working. And so I need to get that done. I put him on before, but it's been a long time, and he's obvious to do that for me. He was a heck of a mechanic. The guy was good. And so I'm sure this is a very simple process. In fact, I know it is because I've done it, but it's been so long. And it's a different car, and I've not replaced anything like that. So this morning is the wiper blade. I will get that video of my lamp struggles up, and I had made some other lamps not on the video, and in the video I will show those too. I'm really honestly pleased with the way they turned out in the end, but the struggle was real, as they say. So yeah, I will attempt to get that by the weekend. I was having trouble with my video editor. My program I use where my videos go to was not working right, and oh my gosh, it's just like I said, people say when it rains it pours. I'm having a monsoon. Hopefully this will all get over with soon and I can get back on track. I may throw a sewing video in. I know that's not what this channel is about unless I was sewing for miniatures. But since I haven't done it for a while, I'm not ready for that. I'm thinking maybe a simple Barbie dress, and then that will get into my, then that becomes not simple because that's how I am. Because I like detail, and you know, I like, I want them to be authentic, accurate, because my dolls are vintage, and I might throw one of those in. So if you watch me fully line a Barbie dress, that's what I do. I've got a method down where it works really well. Just turning all those tiny seams. But yeah, so anyway, thank you for joining me. I'm going to get a new keyhole saw. Maybe it'll be nice this weekend. I can go do that. And it's going to make putting a window in a lot easier. I'm hoping I have enough paint for the paint I found to redo the little boy's room. Get that god awful yellow. And just get back to stuff. Sorry about the orangey yellow light. I'm in my dining room, and my chandelier, as I've explained before, has the Edison bulb, and that's a yellow light. And there is no natural light outside today. It's just cloudy, overcast, gray, and blah. So with that said, I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will see you hopefully with that lamp video this weekend. I apologize for not getting it on yesterday when I said I would, but yeah. I will see you soon. Thank you for hanging in there. Thank you for joining me. And thank you for the nice comments that I have gotten after the video the other day. I will see you soon. Bye bye.